educational advisor. And this is Dr. Nguyen. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Kasey Nguyen. I teach cybersecurity, IT, and computer science courses at Moreno Valley College. I have about 15 years plus experience in cybersecurity area, and then prior to that, I worked in IT.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Dr. Nguyen. So we're going to start the presentation. I'm going to start the first portion, and then we'll hand it over to Dr. Nguyen. So let's get started with the presentation, everyone. So we are going to go over cybersecurity. Again, thank you for showing up. So let me go ahead and pull this up for everyone. This is the STEM Career Exploration Cybersecurity. Thank you again for showing up. And those of you who are here in person, thank you for showing up. You can you see the projection clearly? Go for it. Definitely can. Okay, so let's get started. So how do we look for a job? Where do we start, right? How do we explore careers in the field of cybersecurity? That's a great question. Most of us might know and most of us might not. So one good tool that I usually use with my students is ONET. This is a great resource to explore careers. It is a database for HR and talent. It does provide a comprehensive labor market information, including job descriptions, wages, and benefits. It breaks down education and training that is required for a certain position. And it does give you a job outlook and what's the growth projections for example, cybersecurity within the next few years. So what does this look like? So ONET is basically just a hub for career exploration and research. Again, this is a great tool to start your research right now as a student. If you're interested in cybersecurity within healthcare, and all these other career categories that fall under cybersecurity, this is one great tool where you can start. And as you can see, I have it circled right here. Occupation quick search is the fastest way you can find type in a career, and you'll be able to find the category you're looking for, and it breaks it down for you. Okay, it is just a navigate and a search tool. It does retrieve information about a specific occupation. For example, if we type cybersecurity, it'll give you a big list of categories that fall under that career pathway. And then my next move is another tool within the ONET where you can definitely click on, and it's an interactive tool. It does explore, and it does you are able to learn more about the options in this chosen career field. So I can give an example, but I'll let that be for Dr. Nguyen, if that's okay with you. I'll have her do that in a bit. And then another great tool that I usually work with students with and to explore careers is the Occupational Outlook for Handbook. It's definitely another cool tool. It's similar to ONET. It is created and it is maintained by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It is or the U.S. Labor Department or Department of Labor. It does break down again what's the projection growth for a certain career. In our case, it would be cybersecurity. It does break down the average annual wages within state. For example, ours, California, you'll see or you'll notice that certain careers within cybersecurity are higher in California than it is in other states. And it also breaks down the education requirements for cybersecurity, and certain, some of them require certificate, AA, bachelor's, or it will go even more or higher in education. So again, I did circle how you can search certain careers. So for example, we have the occupational finder. This basically breaks it down in alphabetical order. So if you click on occupation finder, when you're able to log into when you get into the website, it'll just have a list of careers starting from architecture all the way down to letter Z. Whatever falls under those letters, you'll find those occupations within the occupation finder. The search handbook, which is easier to find careers. So if you type in cybersecurity right here in this little search box right here, it'll break it down for you, and it'll give you again what falls under cybersecurity. You'll find information technology in there. You'll find cybersecurity, health management, cybersecurity within forensics or law enforcement. It's pretty cool stuff that I'll get into right now that I really enjoyed looking at. And then the occupations group, it just breaks it down from categories. So if you can see here, it does have architecture and engineering, art and design. So it basically just breaks it down. So for example, in our case, we will click on computer and information technology, and it'll break down everything that falls under that category. Is there any any questions? I'm sorry, I didn't even ask any questions, right? I mean, ask if you guys have any questions regarding the tool that I'm using here. Does anybody have any questions? All right, I'm gonna take that as a no. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue. Again, I can provide an example if you guys are okay with it, or I can do that towards the end, but I'm gonna continue on with the presentation. So what kind of career paths are out there for cybersecurity majors? So if you can see, there's, again, it's more pathways than categories than, you know, what than other types of cybersecurities. For example, we have cybersecurity career areas, right? So these are the cross-functional pathways. We have IT, we have cybersecurity, we have cyber effects, and we have intel. We do have intelligence in there, but this is the cyber workforce. These four categories here, and it does fall under lifecycle management. So this is, so you don't have to just focus on just cybersecurity. You can do a lot more within cybersecurity than just focusing on that. For example, you can get into IT, lifecycle management, talent management, strategic management, and then my favorite, to be honest with everybody, was the legal law enforcement. It was pretty cool to see some stuff with that. So I do have, I'm not sure if you're able to see it. I do have a link right here that I can provide within the chat after the presentation. Definitely something for everyone to look at and take advantage of, because it breaks it down for you, and it does break down the categories underneath each category. Okay, so is there any questions on this particular slide? Awesome. All right, so I'll continue to go again. And the reason I have this slide right here is to show that everything overlaps each other within the cyber workforce. Okay, and as Dr. Nguyen would explain later in the presentation, you'll see how they overlap and the career pathways you can take within cybersecurity. So here we go. So what are career pathways we can take? Well, if you, within cybersecurity, you can do analysis. You can perform highly specialized review and evaluation of incoming cybersecurity information to determine its usefulness for intelligence. So specialty areas that fall under that are all source analysis, exploitation analysis, language analysis, targets, threat analysis. This all falls under analysis, or within the career pathway of analyzing. Then you have collect and operate, which provides specialized denial and deception operations and collection of cybersecurity info that may be used to develop intelligence. The areas that fall under that is collection operations, cyber operational planning, cyber operations. So this is another category that we can choose within cybersecurity. Also, we can go through the investigative side, right? We can do investigative cybersecurity events or crimes related to information technology, systems, networks, and digital evidence. So specialty areas that fall under that: cyber investigation, digital forensics, which is a pretty cool career, or pretty interesting career pathway to take. We also have, if we look on the next slide, we can also go under operation and maintenance, right? Provide the support, administration, and maintenance necessary to ensure effective and efficient IT system performance and security. Specialty areas that fall under this category are customer service and tech support, data system admin, knowledge management, network services, systems analysis. Another area we can get into is oversee and govern. So a lot of this would deal with more with the legal side, provide leadership, management, direction, or development and advocacy so that organizations may effectively conduct cybersecurity work. So another thing, that specialty areas that fall under that would be cybersecurity management, executive cyber leadership, legal advice and advocacy, program project management and acquisition, strategic planning and policy, training, education, and awareness. So these are pretty cool areas that we can definitely get into within cybersecurity. Again, if you guys have any questions, please raise your hand. Is there anything right here that, is anybody here, does anybody have a question right now? Dr. Nguyen, would you like to add on to this?
I'll go through my presentation a little bit.
Awesome. We also have protect and defend, right? So this is another category we can get into. This area focuses on identifying, analyzing, mitigating threats within the internal information technology systems. Special areas that fall under this category are cyber defense analysis, cyber defense infrastructure support, incident response, vulnerability assessment and management. Another area or another category within the cybersecurity field is security provision, right? Conceptualize, design, procure, and or build secure information technology systems with responsibility for aspects of system and or network development. Specialty areas that fall under this category is risk management, software development, systems architecture, systems development, systems requirement planning, technology, R&D, and test and evaluation. Again, anybody have any questions? Just please raise your hand. So let's look closer at some careers. So let's look at cybersecurity analyst. Can you see this? Does anybody see there it is, cybersecurity analyst. So what does a cybersecurity analyst do? They plan, implement, upgrade, or monitor security measures for the protection of computer networks and information, assess system vulnerabilities for security risk, and propose and implement risk mitigation strategies. They do ensure appropriate security controls are in place that will safeguard digital files and vital electronic infrastructure, and may respond to computer security breaches and viruses. So, like, for example, right, hackers, right? We can get into that. This is what we're covering at with this area as a cybersecurity analyst. What is required? Bachelor's degree is required for this field. The typical work environment for a cybersecurity analyst is mostly indoors. It is an office setting, and the average salary nationwide is $102,000 or $600,000 within the nation. But here in California, as I mentioned earlier, it is a bit higher. So the average salary in California for a cybersecurity analyst is $129K in California. What's the job outlook looking like? It's pretty high. So this field is definitely booming. So those of us who are interested in this field, cybersecurity analysts are right now in the high projection growth area. And who hires cybersecurity analysts, right? Computer companies, finance companies such as banking, insurance, healthcare, retail, media, government, education, local, state, federal agencies. So that's for cybersecurity analysts. Another category that I found is digital forensic analysts. This is the one that really interested me the most. But what do they do? They conduct investigations on computer-based crimes, establishing documentary or physical evidence such as digital media and logs associated with cyber intrusion incidents, analyze digital evidence and investigate computer security incidents to derive information in support of systems and network vulnerability mitigation, preserve and present computer-related evidence in support of criminal fraud, counterintelligence, or law enforcement investigations. What's the education required for this type of for this category for digital forensic analyst? It is a bachelor's degree. Again, a lot of mostly cybersecurity positions or work environments are going to be mostly indoors, and it is office setting. The average salary within this particular career pathway, it is $95,000 nationwide, and here in California, it is $101K. And then what's the job outlook? It is average. It is an average job outlook. And who hires these digital forensic analysts? Media companies, finance companies, healthcare, retail, government, and such as the FBI. We can definitely FBI, CIA. This is the type of position that I wish I had. Or when I was in school, I probably should have looked into this. Pretty cool career field to look into. And then the next one is cybersecurity architect, responsible for planning, designing, testing, implementing, and maintaining an organization's computer and network security infrastructure. The role does require thorough knowledge of employer's business and a comprehensive understanding of the technology it uses to conduct operations. This tends to be a more managerial role. What's required? A bachelor's degree. Typical work environment is indoors. Again, like I mentioned earlier, it is within the office setting. And this is the average salary, which is $146,000 nationwide. Job outlook does look great. It is a good outlook. So those of us who are interested in getting into this, I mean, definitely let's consider, sitting down, talking more about it with myself, even Dr. Nguyen, who's going to present more on how to go about this type of field. And who hires cybersecurity architects, right? Computer companies, media companies, again, finance companies, healthcare, retail, and government. Okay, is there any questions regarding any of these slides? Because I'm gonna hand this over now to Dr. Nguyen.
Thank you. Can you move to the next slide, please?
Of course.
So thank you, Oscar, for giving the students the overview. We can take a look at your education pathway and how that will be relevant to some of the job position that Oscar presented. Can you get to the next slide, please? So overall, why are these jobs so in high demands, right? And this is the report that I pulled from Sonic Wall, and Sonic Wall is owned by Dell. It is commonly used in the infrastructure for protection, to do analysis and so on. So as you can see, overall, we would see that 40% of the attack is originated from publicly accessible vulnerable systems. So that means that when people are accessing wireless that is public, or systems that are not patched or updated. And then you do see a lot of ransomware hitting the healthcare and also education area. So that was a climb in large corporation for 26% in the threat. And then 76% is going to be full control. That means that they can take over the system and be able to control the system, either mobile devices or the actual server. So you do see higher percentage in this area. And then encrypted threats. A lot of the time we focus on encryption and how we can use encryption in security, but encrypted threats now climb to 10 million attacks in 2021. So the data that we got from last year, which is a lot more than what we expected due to what we would see with the remote working and all of the things with the COVID impact. So that will be 167% increase. And so the overall look, just to give you a snapshot of what we would see in the year and in the upcoming year, we are expected this to change, either increase tremendously. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So this is why the job outlook would be, what you would see in some areas. Now, high level wise, right? Oscar presented to you some cybersecurity jobs. A lot of the times you will need to transition either from the IT side or either the business side. A lot of the companies are looking for entry-level employees in the IT and then transition them over to the cybersecurity. So here, this is the general job for entry level. You can go in as a support technician. That will be under operation and maintenance, like what Oscar showed you earlier. Sometime if you have sales skill, you can also do IT sales or security system appliance sale. That's big right now. And then the specialist is more on the maintenance and operation as well. And then you move into the analyst. So the hierarchy in this is you have to start in the support area and the specialist area, and then you would gain some experience, and you can do that through the apprenticeship program. Healthcare particularly has the requirement with HIPAA. So you do see positions aim to healthcare system and they use specific systems. And here we also have a certificate to address that. Many of you are interested in pen testing and ethical hacking, and that's two different areas, right? Pen testing is a subdivision of ethical hacking, and pen testing falls under analysis and risk assessment. So now overall, if you are going for cybersecurity positions, you need to understand networking, system hardware and software, and how that intertwines, and then also risk analysis. And in any area of cybersecurity, you have to understand risk analysis. Okay, go ahead and move forward. So the tools that Oscar presented to you is great. You can also use cyberseek.org. Cyberseek.org gives you the pathway map. You can click on the state and it will tell you the job availability and the type of skills that you need. So you can visit that anytime. And then it would also show you entry, middle, and advanced level. So we will talk a little bit more about that when we tie it back to the education. Please move forward. So if you're interested in doing this, right, and some of you are in the program, and I recognize some of you So here at Moreno Valley College, these are the certificates and the degree that we have. The certificates are part of the apprenticeship program, so you can get a paid job through the apprenticeship program while you're pursuing the certificate and the associate degree, because those classes are shared with the associate degree. And then you can also further transfer to Cal State San Bernardino and get your bachelor degree for a certain position. Like, for example, if you want to do more investigation and intelligence, those area will require at least a bachelor degree. Now, some certificate have more units than other, like the information technology one, it encompasses a little bit more broader scale. So for those people who want to pursue more IT-based job, network administration, system administration, that will be more on the IT. And then in the cybersecurity area, the cybersecurity specialists emphasize the pen testing, and also in the analyst area, you do have a couple more classes that are more advanced in how you are defending the network and how you will be able to do vulnerability and risk assessment. Go ahead and move forward. We have the associate degree now, so if you want to pursue that, you can. So just to kind of give you, branching off on the IT side, if you want to go into the IT side, you can start with IT help desk, which are, just basically taking requests or service ticket, be able to troubleshoot. And then you do have sales and support position. Now, IT support specialists, you would see that they would have multiple level. You will start with level 1. Sometime that would just be maintenance and operations in fixing system and be able to replace or upgrade system. And then you can get into level 3, which is a little bit more on the advanced troubleshooting. So things that are on network configuration, certificates, stuff like that, or even Active Directory area. Okay, move forward. So for the cybersecurity pathway, you can transition from IT over, but if you're focused specifically for cybersecurity, those classes are emphasizing cybersecurity area, like your CIS 27B, which is ethical hacking class, or the 27A, which is digital forensic, computing for forensic. And then in CIS 27, some of you are in my class now, we address the overall aspect where we look at policies. We also look at configurations and encryption. So if you pursue the specialist position, you can look at pen testing careers. You can also do operations and support. The analyst side, they normally look at what's coming in and leaving the network, what are some of the threats, studying the historical data, and to be able to derive solutions. Analysts, you would see that would be more on the mid-level. It requires a little bit of scripting sometimes. So programming skills is always going to be important. Logical thinking and also critical thinking and troubleshooting is all required in all areas of IT and cybersecurity. And then if you want to work in the healthcare industry, there are specific requirement in healthcare, like regulations, the type of encryption is used, how to set up the network. So we offer a certificate under the cybersecurity healthcare specialist. This is now also a part of the apprenticeship. It has its own apprenticeship program. So if you want to do that, you can also do multiple certificate in the apprenticeship and then look for a specific area or company that you want to work for. Okay, so in the healthcare, you would see like healthcare privacy security officer. They function a little bit different because healthcare systems have different requirements compared to your general system. Next slide, please. So now it is great to get certificates from the college and your associate degree or even a bachelor degree. I encourage everyone to pursue industry certifications. And if you're part of the apprenticeship program, you will be able to obtain vouchers, 1 or 2 vouchers to be able to take your examination with CompTIA. We do have Certiport for EC Consult Associates in forensic and ethical hacking. So if you're interested in that, you can contact me and let me know, and I will add you as a user so you can take the test and you can print out your result and show that to the employer. So CompTIA is big. That is overall for IT and some cybersecurity. We offer courses that are aligned with CompTIA. EC Console is if you want to do ethical hacking, forensic, and some of the other area, and we'll talk about, offensive security in a little bit. GIAC offers some forensic and other IT and cybersecurity related certification. Government agency, they like GIAC. You do see that GIAC is now getting a little bit more popular compared to the others. So later on, when you get into more advanced cybersecurity and managerial positions, you will think about pursuing CISSP or ICISSP under ISC squared. They are expensive, but they will offer you more higher level certification. Now, if you want to do IT auditing, system auditing, it is a task that we normally do after an incident, or we audit once a year. In regulation, normally that they require at least 1 or 2 audits. Sometimes you can become an external audit. You can come in and tell the company what to do. So ISACA is the organization that provides certification in this area. Also frameworks and manageable based type of certification. So if you're interested in that, I can give you some information about ISACA. Now, if you guys like Kali Linux and pen testing, offensive security is big in the industry now. Knowing how to utilize the tools, knowing how to script, knowing the type of open source, packages and things that you can use, be able to implement programming development, and also using Linux. Offensive security has a different group of certification. It is for blue team, red team. So if you like competitions, if you want to hack for a living, offensive security certification is the one to go for. Once you have that, they also have you match on LinkedIn and social media with all of these certifications, so you can use that to market your skills on the internet. Next slide, please. So with the apprenticeship program, we are approved by the Department of Labor to offer the apprenticeship program. In this program, you don't have to pay for tuition as long as you agree to work for 140 hours paid with a real company that offers you IT or cybersecurity positions. Most of them will start you in the entry level. Some would also bring you into the cybersecurity area. And then you can transition, you can stay with the company, or you can look for other organization after you complete your apprenticeship. You can do part-time school or full-time, that's up to you. And if you wish to do the apprenticeship, you can use the QR, or you can contact Roslinda Rivas. She will be able to go over the orientation and register you in the system. So once we register you in the system, it will waive your tuition. You will also get exam voucher. We can help you with job placement. The hard part about getting into the technical industry in all areas is the experience. So you should be able to work at least a semester or 2 semesters into your school. And once you pass the assessment, and so before we send you to work, we actually give you a test, and you have to pass the test with 80% or higher. And then you'll be able to gain real world experience, troubleshooting, fixing systems, maintaining system, protecting systems in all areas. And we use local company to be able to do that. And these positions are mostly on-site positions. You might see some that will give you partial remote, but a lot of the time for us, IT, we have to be there and we have to be able to maintain our system. So, unless you are managing server down the line, you do see some remote positions, but a lot of the times we are physical and on-site. Next slide, please. So one area that I want to point out to you is IoT assessment is really big right now. Everybody use Internet of Things, smart devices. Understanding how the system works and how to program the system, how to manage and connect the systems is really important. In the education area, you have Arduino for microcontroller. Microcontroller is used in industrial systems. For example, in farming, they use microcontroller to water fields, to be able to sense when animals is entering the field, and so on. Embedded system use embedded Linux, and embedded system is widely used in all your smart devices. Like start with your Android smartphone, that's an embedded system. And for the education side, we can use Raspberry Pi to be able to understand how to program it, how to be able to use it to connect, how to make it talk to the cloud. And then lastly, we can look into design Internet of Things. Now, these courses are non-credit. That means that there's no credit. You just get a pass or no pass. It is free to everyone as long as they're over the age of 16, and they have to go through the non-credit registration process. However, for you, I think you can still register if you are already a student here. I am teaching the course. It is on site at the Makerspace in July. And going through these courses, not only that they're fun and they're interesting and you know how to work with sensor and use them, but to really understand the aspect of how IoT is designed and how it's used. And for cybersecurity, this is a big area for now. I think they are expanding certifications in this area. So I encourage you, if you do have time, to take the courses or learn about IoT, how to protect and use IoT effectively. Okay, next slide. And then now I believe I can pass this back to Oscar, but these are the links that we've been providing you all this time.
So everyone, so these are the resources that we were just speaking on. So I do encourage everyone here to go to the MVC Career Center and access the Vita Navis. It's basically a career exploration tool as well. And it'll give you, it's called the Myers-Briggs, and it's basically places you into categories and definitely helps out and breaks down everything for you into categories in regards to your career interests. And it just is, it can change from now in the future, but definitely take advantage of this Vita Navis. And then if you guys have any questions regarding it or having, trouble understanding it, you can definitely come to me or to the counselor and we can definitely break it down. But definitely create an account for Vita Navis and I can guide you guys through it if you guys do decide to come over and see me at the Student Services Building, second floor. CyberSeek, this is the website that Dr. Nguyen explained. Definitely take advantage of it. Take advantage of the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Careers and Studies. Again, this is all career exploration. It's free training, and it does provide a lot of student resources. We are creating a partnership or have a partnership with Cal State University San Bernardino with the cybersecurity, and they do offer resources. And I encourage everyone to look at them at their website because it does provide a lot more information regarding cybersecurity, and it does talk about conferences, professional organizations that you can join as a student, and certifications. Again, I spoke to you guys about ONET, something to definitely again explore occupations and salaries, and then STEM Center Canvas. Join our STEM Center Canvas, and myself or Katie will definitely reach out back to you guys. Is there any questions that anyone has right here regarding the presentation? Something you guys want to talk about?
I want to point out to everyone that if you do think about cybersecurity careers, just to make sure that you maintain your records. All companies do background check. Sometime in high level, if you work for government agencies or companies that are affiliated with government agencies, they go through clearance, sometimes 7-level clearance. So making sure that, from here on out, you can maintain your records. Also, your credit scores is important. Some company, they use that to really determine if you are prone to committing fraud and things like that, because we are privy to information in a lot of really sensitive systems like financial systems and things like that. When you assess, you would see a lot of things and you have to function in an ethical area. So, as a student, I think it's really important to think about your goal your career goals and making sure that you maintain your records and not, having anything that will count against you. And then additionally, just, social media, watch out for that. And making sure that if you do have something that could count against you, make sure that you upfront and honest in the application, and that's important. So there's a chat question.
Yes, so it does say, I have a question. So I'm taking CIS 17A in the summer. Will this correlate with cybersecurity?
So 17A is a C++ programming course after CIS 5. I think having programming skill is good. You don't have to really, you can major in computer science or computer information system and transition into cybersecurity. Having cybersecurity knowledge and skills is essential. So if you don't take the cybersecurity courses like CIS 27, you might need to be able to study on your own or practice the skill on your own. Yes, so you can take the programming courses and you can pursue a different certificate or a degree, and then you can apply for a certain position in cybersecurity area. Most companies, they're open to people who have math degree, business degree, IT degree. A lot of the times they prefer that you have computing related degrees. So if you come from computer science, for example, you can get into development area, web application assessment. So learning programming languages are always a plus, okay? If you major in electrical engineer, that's definitely helpful in the IoT area. Right now, I think there are a lot of companies that are looking to hire engineers, electrical engineers, software engineers, to really look at how they can integrate tools and test tools that are related to electrical systems, industrial systems. A lot of supply chain companies are suffering because they don't have enough resources and protection. So I think if you look into supply chain, and supply chain just simply talks about, it encompasses company from the, making products to shipping products to delivering products and selling the products, or services. That could be some cases. So having electrical engineering background is also good. Like I said before, right? A lot of the things that we utilize, everything that we utilize in the network environment and in our infrastructure is all electrical. Now, for the electrical engineers, you might get into more industrial systems or systems that specifically to control the entire building and things like that, and how you'll be able to protect that, like SCADA, and so on. But I would suggest to at least learn scripting, like Python, or even have programming background. I also suggest learning, getting a Security Plus certification through CompTIA. That would be like taking CIS 27, and you can sit for the exam. So in that, what you can do is you can gain additional knowledge outside of what your scope would be in education if you're getting a bachelor degree in engineering, or you have a bachelor degree in engineering or computer science, okay? In programming and computer science, there are a lot of things that you can tap into, working with web-based application, native applications, testing tools, to be able to develop interfaces for secured system. Even in some firewall, you have to have programming skills to be able to work with some firewall. I know a couple of firewalls company, they only hired software engineer to monitor and manage their live system. So, those are some of the areas that you can tap into. See another comment or chat. I think I addressed that. Yes.
I have a question regarding the apprenticeship. How long is the apprenticeship for those students who don't know? And what types of hands-on do they get? And do they get a certification from the state once they're done with the apprenticeship?
Yes. So apprenticeship, depending on the the education load, right? If the student go full time, it can be quicker. If they want to do one certificate, for example, one certificate can be 15 units. And so if they do full time, that could be a couple semester, or they can go slower, right? Or they can take other classes. Now, the tuition is waived for them depending on, so some classes that would be useful, like if they're taking programming courses and that's not included in the certificate, that can also be waived, right? That's the gray area that we can look at. So now for the work process, they will be required to do 140 hours at the company or longer, and all companies hire them as a part-time employee. That means that they can stay there and move into full time, or they can leave the company after they're done and apply at another place for a better position or equivalent. So they do get a certification through our state because it is a registered apprenticeship program. We also have partnership with Robert Half, also run an apprenticeship program. So if you don't want to go through our district for apprenticeship, we can also refer you to Robert Half. Robert Half look for a little bit higher than entry level. I think they're looking for like analyst position. So you do have to come in with, programming knowledge along with networking and some cybersecurity skills from your classes already. While you're doing your classes, you can work. So as soon as you have taken CIS 25 or CIS 27, we can give you the test and you can begin working. I think I addressed all your questions. Did I miss anything?
No, you definitely answered them. And I had one question. What is the starting salary for an apprentice within cybersecurity?
So right now, the local companies, when they sign a contract with us, it varies from one company to the next. Some companies would start at, let's say, $18 an hour, and they would bring the students in to do more IT-based work and eventually transition them. For example, like City of Moreno Valley hire our students, right? And ballpark, like you would see between $18 to $30 an hour. It ranges differently with companies, but they have to agree to a salary upscale, meaning that after the probationary period, when the student is evaluated, they get a raise, right? And what that raise would be is part of the contract with the company. So some company would say, oh, the student will get $2 per hour raise after they pass the 6 months probationary period. And within that 6 months, you can easily do 140 hours already. So you already met your requirement, but you can continue to work there. So it is a regular job. What we do is we establish the relationship with the company and we lock in on the contract to make sure that the students are hired and then they are paid at a certain rate to start and also to move up with the company. And then the company they're required to assess the student based on the courses that we presented to them. So when you're in the apprenticeship program, we put you in a system where we can track the skill that would be correlate to your job. So for example, at City of Loma Linda University Hospital, they hired one of my apprentices. He's doing assessment for some of their system, right? And then so what that means is that his manager would go back and look at the courses that he took, for example, CIS 27, to look at the course objective and how that line up with what his job would be. So it is very skill-based assessment. We want to make sure that what we're teaching is what you can use in the field. And I wanted to emphasize a lot more hands-on in the classroom. And so when you go to work, you will be exposed to that. So they would have somebody to show you how to do things, how to be able to configure things. For example, some company would have you configure surveillance system, like casinos or even hospitals or City of Moreno Valley. I think they do that to be able to work with video surveillance and things like that. And then utilize server configuration to make sure that you track certain images and things like that. So, there could be various hands-on things. And a lot of the times, company are very conscious about when they're bringing in the students, it has, the skills that they're giving you is going to be lined up with what you have learned or what you currently are learning. So.
And I have one more question for just so students can have more information on it.
Okay.
What kinds of companies have your past apprentices been placed in after finishing apprenticeship?
So many of them have not finished apprenticeship. We are fairly new. It took me 2 years to build this out, and it took a long time to get the contracts. So some of the students, I think I have a couple that actually finished and left, right? They have moved on and got their own positions at other companies. So City of Moreno Valley, I mentioned, Loma Linda University Hospital. We do have like IT services company locally that hire students, also like computer maintenance places that hire students. We work with Acorn, who does they host and they support, and they also have data center. So right now they're looking for 2 apprentices, and I'm getting ready to get some of the apprentices started. So the process sometimes take a little bit longer or shorter depending on the company. For example, Loma Linda University Hospital take a little bit longer because, just going through their background and interviews and, going through the HR process sometimes takes a little bit longer than other places. City of Moreno Valley is fairly fast. They look at resume to interview the students. They turn around in a few, like maybe 1 week, and they'll respond, like whether that student is hired or not. So you do interview like a regular job. You submit resume like a regular job. What we do is we try to prepare you. And then, if let's say the student don't want to go for that job, we can look at other options. Right now, we're trying to still build out additional companies. So in the last few months, we have gained additional 3. So I started 2 years ago with 6 companies in the book. And that is also shared. We also got Riverside County recently, and the county is fairly large. So if you look for even some crime investigation that is digital based, sometimes that can be helpful, connecting with the county, because they have the sheriff department who always look for some IT or forensic people. Now, forensic is a little harder to tap into. You really have to have the experience and certification to get the job, because sometimes you have to work in a clean lab environment. That means that you have to analyze like drives and things like that. And you use specialized equipment. And then also sometimes you have to go into the field, like crime scenes and things like that. So you have to be exposed to that. So a lot of the companies that are hiring forensic people, they look specifically for the skill sets, the experience, or your exposure, and your certification. One of the things that they use is called NCASE, and NCASE is a toolkit that is expensive, right? And so when we teach forensic, a lot of times we teach a lot of different tools, but if you can get certified in NCASE, and a lot of the police department uses NCASE or FTK. Those are some of the toolkits that you would see, just like how pen tester, they would be exposed to exploit kits. Exploit kits are abundant and open source. So the more tools and the more knowledge you have, that is going to help you in the long run, because this industry is about the type of products that we use. Every company use, a group of products that's a little bit different. So as you work in your apprenticeship, you will be exposed to some. If you go to another job, you will be exposed to other type of tools, and you always want to update your resume and be able to make sure that, you are knowledgeable in different things for cybersecurity. This is a field that you cannot stop learning. So for as long as I remember, things that I've learned 15 years ago, I still use, and things that I have to learn recently to do stuff for my clients, that's something that I have to tap into now. So that's just my understanding. Is the work, yes, they are flexible. Well, I can't say completely yes, right? Some company, they're very clear about, what they're expecting. So, but they are aware that you are a student. So for example, Acorn would say we need 2 students. And we would say that these students are taking classes during the day or in the afternoon. So they would try to fit the shift that would allow the student to work. We also do incumbent worker type of programs through the apprenticeship, meaning that if the company have some people that they want to send for us to train and they're already with the company, and those people can transition to the technical area like IT or cybersecurity, we also support that as well. We have a couple companies that do that right now with us. Is they send some of their low-level technician to school, and then we offer the courses, and they would take the courses and they can move up into the higher level for the cybersecurity area.
Thank you, Dr. Nguyen, for answering our
Yeah.
questions. Does anybody else have another question? Yes, we do. There it is.
Is there a penalty for not completing the apprenticeship? There is not a penalty for not completing an apprenticeship, but for example, if the student dropped from the program, we would have to, remove the student record from. We have to drop the student record from the apprenticeship system, and then anything after that, you won't be able to go through that again. So it is like an opportunity, right? Because if a student go through that is a place that another student can utilize. Right now we do have a lot of grants to support it. It's great because that way it gives you tools and resources that are free. Down the line we try to supplement that with additional grants and other resources, but as you know, that every state is looking to really build this out because we have a shortage. If you look at the map on CyberSeek, it actually gives you the statistic on the region and how many employers to the worker. A lot of times we see either 1-to-1 or 2 employers to 1. So, that kind of give you the overall picture on where you want to be and who you want to work for. So.
Thank you, Dr. Nguyen. We're about coming to time. If you guys have any more questions, you can definitely reach me at my email right here at oscar.escobar@mvc.edu. You can also reach out to Katie, Dr. Esteban Navas, or Dr. Nguyen. So I just want to say thank you for everyone. Thank you, Dr. Nguyen, for coming by. We appreciate it big time.
Thank you. And anytime you have questions about the programs, jobs, things like that, you can email me. I'm open to that, even if you're not my student.
Sounds good.
Have a good one.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Appreciate it.